comments unrelated to item 6A, we can hear those now. Otherwise, when we get to 6A, we'll have a staff presentation and then public comments and then board discussion and thereafter a motion.
Yeah, and we can have any comments during any specific item as well when we get to them.
So do we have any other public comments? If none, we'll go to 4, consent calendar, minutes of the regular meeting, November 4th, 2020. Were there any comments? Edits?
No, I make the motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So be it. Item 5, general business.
Thanks, Henry. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. Can you see the mid-year report here?
Yep, very good.
Blow that up a little bit. So rather than, I'll put up the financials and I'll talk through them here. Might be easiest. This is our normal mid-year activity report for the parking fund. Revenues right now, so the modified budget first and foremost is in revenue is 6.72 million. As you might remember in prior years, a normal revenue stream would be about 18 million or so, maybe even up to 19 million in total for a year. So we have ratcheted our year-end budget for this year, given the impacts, obviously due to COVID, down to 6.7 million. Our mid-year revenue to date.
Marion,
Yep.
can you move that screen a little bit to our left? There you go.
A little better.
Yeah, perfect.
So mid-year revenue, $3 million, just under 45%. We'd expect this column to be about at 50%, would be our target. Our facility revenue, our lots and garages, just under where we'd like them to be based on a 50% target at $2.3 million. Right now, the vast majority of our revenue is coming in from our monthly permit holders that continue to pay, businesses, employees, to the tune of about 75% of our lot and garage revenue is coming from our monthly permit holders. In a typical year, that would be closer to 40%, with 60% coming from visitors. So we're kind of flipped upside down and then further to the extreme. Our parking meter revenue is about on target, just over at 688,000 based on our lowered expectations for revenue. Transfers, this transfer in, we have a budgeted $5.7 million that we will be transferring over from our capital reserve fund into the parking fund to make up for the revenue shortfalls. That has not yet occurred. It'll happen later in the second half of the year. Our expenditures, we continue to monitor those. Our DOT contractual and non-personal, these are our biggest line items. These are our parking operators, our security vendors, our maintenance teams that manage and maintain the portfolio. So that's budgeted at 6 million. You can see we took that down from kind of last year's actual, and we'll be well under the 6 million. We're at 2.4 now. If we kind of continue that on, even if we bring on a little bit of additional kind of services as activity comes back in the lots and garages, but we still anticipate being under the 6 million. We've paid a portion of our fees for the APTs, the automatic public toilets downtown. We are the funding source for that. DOT personal services, this is DOT staff related to the parking program. We're under, we've got some vacancy savings currently that's transpiring in that. Our overhead number, this is, we pay the general fund every year. It's overhead. It covers the city's expenses. Every department gets, pays a share of this. Ours is $2 million this year. Our transfers out, these are different expenditures that, you know, different funds have to pay. We also pay our share of the P-bid relative to the downtown lots and garages in our properties. The general fund, another transfer to the general fund of close to 500,000. So the total's 800, almost $900,000 there. And then we actually did transfer out some money into the reserve at the very beginning of the year. But as I mentioned, we'll be bringing money back into the operating fund. Our net revenue is down, obviously, but it does not include, as I mentioned, that $5.7 million infusion. That's made up of a couple of things. So it's $5.7 million that we're bringing into the fund. Part of it is from CIP capital project savings from last year. There's also some interest that was generated off our reserve of $1 million. So it's $1 million in project savings, $1 million in interest that had been in that reserve fund, and project reductions or deferrals of about $1 million, and then 2.7 million from the actual reserve pot. So 3 in savings and interest, and 2.7 from the reserve. So that's where we're at our mid-year.
When does the 5.7 come into play?
I mean, we had anticipated it a little bit earlier, but it's just an accounting transfer over. It'll happen. It just hadn't functionally happened, so we could show it on the books, but it'll happen in the second half of this year at some point.
Okay, thanks.
Can you scroll up and see I can see the titles again?
Oh, sorry. Yep. So here's our modified budget. We show you what we did last year. Here's our new budget. Here's the mid-year actuals, and here's the variance to our new budget.
Could you explain what is the public restroom expense for, considering downtown is pretty much empty right now?
Yeah, the fees for the ongoing maintenance, cleaning, and contractual relation, for those automatic public toilets exist regardless. And the parking fund was tapped to pay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have one sort of request, a tiny
Sure.
one on page 3.
Page 3, yeah, I hadn't yet got there. But
Oh, are you going to go there now?
I can certainly
Well,
go,
let me
but
just share. My request is so silly. Under each one of a couple of those line items there, could you put the percentage, just add a row for the percentage? So under facilities revenues, you put the percentage that particular garage is of the total.
Of the total?
Yeah, just in future reports, not now.
Yeah, sure.
And then the same for expenses and the same for parking. It looks like you have room on the page, and having those percentages would help me as I review this, because I actually end up doing it myself.
Yeah. So you want one for percentage of total in the revenue line, percentage of total in the expense, and then percentage of total in the operating loss income.
Number of parking spaces.
Oh, the number of parking spaces. Okay.
Yeah, losses in operating income or losses I don't care about so much.
Okay. Yep.
But I think you could slide those in there, and once you put them in there, you wouldn't have to do anything ever again. Thank you very much.
I'm fine with that. I think that would help. So just briefly, this is an attempt to capture. It isn't an exact science, as some of the expenditures are just spread across the portfolio based on a predetermined allocation. But it gets us a good sense of where each location stands. The facility revenues are direct from each facility, and things like the audit overhead and the payroll line, that's the DOT. Those things are allocated based on a percentage of the total. I did take a quick look just, to understand what last year was. I went back to last year's items, like the three largest facilities, or the two largest, the Convention Center and Market Street Garage, for example. At this point last year, the Convention Center was at 1.5 million and the Market Street Garage was at 2.5 million. And we're at 500,000 and 800,000 right now.
Arian?
Yes.
May I also request that we have an on-street total broken down by districts? Because we don't have any sense of which districts and meters are bringing in what dollar amounts.
I will see if we can do that. I know we do that each year as we present the report each year. I'll have to see if we have the, you know, the ability to put staff towards getting that granular data. It's a little easier on the off street because we get that in reports directly from our operators every month and pay bills against it based on that. But we can talk internally and see if it's something we can do. I'll note the request.
Yeah, my understanding is that's what the smart meters were for, to assist with the bookkeeping and the tracking.
I think the revenue is probably somewhat easy. It's the expense side of thing. But like I said, we'll look at that. So revenue for meter by district during the mid-year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Arian,
Other comments?
facility revenues defined is both monthly passes plus just daily drive-in revenue.
Correct. Yep. Yep. That's the, and if we were to take this number, the total for the off-street side, it's 75% of this currently is coming from our monthly permits.
Does that mean somebody's going to work downtown? Sorry for asking.
I am.
Anybody?
There are, and you know, some of the larger companies obviously continue to pay, just as I assume they continue to pay their rent and their obligations. They continue to pay for the parking, although they may not be using it or not using it in large quantities, you know, to preserve that account going forward.
Do you happen to know what percentage of the monthly passes are still paying versus those that are, what percentage kind of dropped off?
I don't have that number right at my fingertips. It wasn't as cataclysmic as, you know, I had envisioned, you know, as we were coming back through the summer, and had provided that level of relief to people with the free parking and then notification about things coming back on and providing the options for people to, you know, terminate their accounts and come back when they thought it was when it was time, or when they were kind of re-energizing their offices. It happened, certainly. I don't have that number right off the top of my head, but it wasn't as large as I had anticipated.
Okay, that's good. That's enough.
Next slide.
So a brief update. Let me see, this little bit's small.
Better.
Yeah, that's good.
There. So a little update on the capital. So our budget for capital this year, our actual expenditures, you know, checks cut against that, and then encumbered monies that have been set aside, and then this is the total. The downtown event parking dynamic message signs, these are the signs off of Julian in and around the arena, intended to direct traffic for events. That project's effectively done. Whether we have a little bit of outstanding monies for that just to close it out, but that project's basically done. Garage elevator upgrades, as you might recall, we deferred a project. We had presented a conceptual plan to add an elevator at the 2nd and San Carlos garage. That no longer is on the books, but we do have money set aside for routine kind of elevator maintenance and upgrades. And right now, Public Works is doing a kind of citywide assessment of elevators and what the game plan is kind of on a broader scale. It's an ongoing challenge for the city kind of across its portfolio with the elevators. And so we've got money set aside. I don't believe we'll spend much of it this year as they kind of determine what our plan of action is and what contracts we have with vendors to do the type of maintenance and R&M for the elevators. But we have the money set aside for that. The garage facade improvement, that is earmarked for the Market Street garage. If you recall, we have the tile that's failing on the exterior of the Market Street garage that we've been told needs to be removed. So we continue to work through that project. And we've got a conceptual design for the public art element, and that will be included in the facade. And Public Works is now working through the kind of demo and removal of the existing, and then what needs to be put back in place prior to the new facade and public art coming online. That's going to be a multi-year project. So this line will continue to be there. Unspent monies will continue to get moved to the next year because we will need those monies. Greater downtown area multimodal. There's a downtown wayfinding project on the books that's got $44,000 set aside for it. And they've spent a little bit, I think, in staff time and planning for that. Greater downtown parking inventory. This is money set aside for the Diridon area, providing flexibility. You know, we bought the parcel of land near the arena a year or two ago, and this money still is there for site planning and potential development. Obviously, the reserves were there prior to as a tool for future stuff that we may need in that area. Nothing in green technologies. We completed all of our LED lighting upgrades, so all of the garages now have LED lighting throughout them. Minor parking facility improvements. This line, $2 million, just over. We've spent about $300,000. This is kind of our miscellaneous, any project that occurs in our facilities, fencing, door repairs, lighting, all that kind of stuff comes out of this line. A year or so ago, we had a consultant that did a comprehensive review of our facilities on projects that we needed to kind of A, priority urgent items, B, stuff that you should do in the next couple of years, and then here's the nice to have bucket. So we've done the urgent items that included cabling in the garages that separate levels that are, you know, vehicle barrier cablings, different concrete surface repairs that needed to be done, trip hazard type stuff. And so that's where we've spent the bulk of that $300,000. The revenue control line item, this is money still for our parks upgrade. Obviously, the hardware is in all of our facilities. We continue to work with our vendor on some punch list items that are still outstanding. They still need to do all of the roadway parking guidance systems throughout the downtown. That's a component of this project. So that'll be happening here in the next month or two. And then we have to get to acceptance testing of the system before we start cutting the big checks against this. So we've got 5.6 million encumbered here, and we'll start drawing that down as the vendor finishes and hits milestones. Security improvements. This, we are looking to upgrade the existing surveillance system and add some additional cameras. Since the return of our parking operations back in August, given the lowered activity levels and the plan that we've had all along to bring on our parking command center, which we're building out there at the 4th and San Fernando garage, as a centralized hub where we can have staff manage the entire portfolio from a single location. We've been doing that in a kind of testing environment out of the Market Street garage, where we have 1 or 2 staff at computers that can manage with the cameras and with the parking system remotely. So anybody that's parking at, say, the 3rd Street garage, if they hit the intercom, that call goes to the main office. Somebody can attend to it there. They can assist the customer and see the activity. And that's what we will be bringing on at the 4th and San Fernando garage, as that project is being completed here this month. But we will have the flexibility to have less bodies in the garages from a kind of customer service standpoint, but we'll still have the maintenance and we'll still have managers floating around. But we'll be able to remotely manage the portfolio. And this security improvement line item will enhance the cameras and our surveillance technology in the garages. Public art and the citywide public, those are just fixed numbers based on a total of the projects that we've got. And so there's been some spent monies for the public art related to our facade project, and the public works is just, they draw that down as they assist on different projects. Our reserve balance is there. It might be an appropriate time. Let me stop sharing real quick to show you, since we're talking about the budget. Sorry, I should have had this open. Why don't I have it? I had a snapshot of what that reserve looks like. I've mentioned that we're drawing down the reserve in this year, and we project to do that as we go forward. You know, I'll look for that in a minute. Are there any questions on this?
Okay. I don't know why we're approving this versus just accepting it. Is there a difference?
Accepting, approving, it's, I think, one and the same. We're presenting. If you have any comments or objections, I guess technically you could not
Okay.
approve it.
Okay.
But
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
who was the second, Harvard? Thank you.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was everybody no. Okay. Give me 1 second while I try to pull up what I was trying to pull up here. Sorry. All right, I can't find what I was gonna have. I'll have to pull it up in a minute, unless Heather, you have that document. I'll move on to 6B for now. We'll get through this. So 6B is our 21-22 proposed budget and a look at our 5-year capital program.
5B.
What's that?
It's 5.
5B.
What did I say?
6.
Oh, sorry, 5B. So what we're showing here again is our 2021 modified budget, just for reference. It was in the previous document. Here's our current mid-year totals, and here's our proposed budget for next year. So we are proposing a 25% increase in our revenue next year for both our off-street lots and garages and our parking meters. So going from 4.9 to 6.1 and 1.35, 1.687. Total revenue, just over 8 million. That's our projection at this time. It's not much more than a shot in the dark as we try to project what, you know, the environment will look like in the next year as stuff starts to come back online. but it may be a little bit conservative, but that's where we're at right now. I mentioned that we'd be infusing the parking fund with some of our reserve balance to offset the shortfalls in revenue. Based on this revenue projection, we're anticipating the need for another infusion of 4.9 million for next year. From an expense side of things, it basically takes the anticipated budget for this year, adds a couple percentage points for expenses. This number has obviously been reduced from prior years. I think we're closer to 7 million or so, maybe a little over in our contractual. We're down at 6, a couple percentage points on top of that to bring it to 6.5 for next year. Same for DOT staff and the overhead line for a total expenditures of just over 11 million.
Marion, Henry.
Yeah.
I see on public restrooms, that's zeroed out.
Yeah, we are currently not projecting that the parking fund would be the mechanism to pay for that. Until we're told otherwise, we'll keep that at zero. Given our funding and the fact that we're taking reserves to balance our budget, we're not showing the number there until we're told from the budget office potentially.
Why would you not show it until there was an alternative source of funds?
We were the kind of alternative source of funds for the last couple of years, but we've been pushing back against that each and every time. But we'll see where that shakes out.
Meanwhile, so that's we're covered for this year, it's just come July.
Correct. Yep. And this is preliminary at this point. We don't see any change to our transfers, the PBID, the general fund, the debt service, so on. And that leaves the parking fund with a little bit of a fund balance. And, you know, to the extent that we can get away with something less after we finish this year in a transfer from the reserves, then certainly we'll readdress that. Or if the outlook for revenue is coming online faster than we anticipate, then we can always make adjustments there. From a 5-year CIP perspective, I'll need to zoom out on this. We are now showing basically as modest of a CIP as we can kind of realistically hold, right around $3 million. 500, sorry?
I'm sorry, are you intending to screen share? Does anybody else see it?
Oh.
I don't see
Shoot. I've been,
I don't see it either.
it. Okay,
why didn't anybody shoot?
there you go.
I thought I was still sharing the entire time.
So Arian, I sent you a private comment. I don't have the link to all these documents. The link that you sent in the meeting invite was broken. So I don't even have access to this stuff anyway. So if someone could send that, that would be wonderful.
I will do that right now. And please, somebody jump right in and stop my my mouth if we're going off the rails. Heather, do you want to jump in on the capital real quick while I send this email?
Heather has left the auditorium.
Arian, the budget is still not being screen shared.
Yeah, I'm trying to send out this email real quick, sorry, so that everybody has the link. I just sent the link to the agenda, which then has the link to each of the items. I'm not sure why the link was broken.
Well, I downloaded it yesterday, and yesterday the links were fine.
No, not for me, sorry.
All right. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, the 5-year projection for the capital program, $3 million in total. The bulk of that, as I mentioned previously, is in our minor facility improvements. This 1.7 million really affords us the ability to just maintain the facilities and any of the items that come up, and keep the portfolio, you know, kind of chugging along and taking on any incremental small projects that may come up.
Arian, would you move that to our left? We're missing the final year.
Okay, well, maybe I just need to zoom out because I don't have a scroll right now.
There you go.
That
Yeah.
better?
All right.
We have $500,000 each year in our elevator upgrades. That's in addition to the monies currently set aside. $500,000 gets us about one major overhaul of one elevator a year, basically. And so at a facility like the 3rd Street Garage that has 3 elevators, you can see where the money started going away quickly in elevators. Green technology, we've got a couple $100,000, so that could be vehicle chargers is a big push. Additional infrastructure for electric vehicle charging is something that we see potentially on the horizon. And revenue control upgrades, although the system will be new, it will have a warranty. Vandalism, stuff like that is not covered. So we just had a pay station screen smashed the other day, so we'll need to replace that screen. So this money provides additional meter upgrades or anything that may happen there, and facility technology. Heather, are you able to share the projection? I thought I had it, and rather than dig around.
The reserve projection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Do you want to share that real quick?
I can. Can you see it?
Yeah. Do you want to talk to that, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So what we just showed right here in the 5-year CIP projection is roughly $3 million. What this is trying to show is the reserve balance currently is right around 22 million. Next year, I mentioned we'd be looking at needing 4.9 million out of our reserve to cover parking operating, and then 3 million for our CIP brings the balance down to 14 million. That trend continues as we look at the out years for the fund with kind of diminished revenue. So 14 million is the balance. We have another 3 million in capital, 2.3 million in transfers, again, to cover shortfalls, and the balance continues. It isn't until we get to the last year of our 5-year outlook where we're actually bringing money back into the reserve, $4 million. I think right now we're projecting FY 24-25 starts to look the most normal in our projections to pre-COVID. And so
Arian, where does that 4 million come
from surpluses in the operating side. So basically net operating revenue that we would then transfer back into the reserve to start building that reserve back up.
So it's another reserve account?
Well, no, the reserves would still exist in the capital side, but each year we're showing a reduction or a take from the reserves to balance the operating budget.
So is there a table that shows 559 in the similar format?
It does not, because what we are, when working with the budget office, this is intended to kind of show that mechanics, but the budget office is basically saying, well, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the reserve into the ending fund balance for the fund 559. And then incrementally, as the funds are needed each year, you have to take from there.
Is 559 something that this board controls? Or
That's
is
the
it,
559 is the capital fund. So the $3 million a year that we're showing in projects is the 559.
okay, and so why is it, so why can't we see a table like this one for 559? That shows a beginning balance, transfer in of $3 million, right?
Well, it doesn't,
and
no,
ending-
559 is basically I can throw something together. This was the attempt to throw that out there.
But this is a going out of business story. Right, we're out
For-
of money in 5 years.
For the capital fund, the capital fund every year has been funded by 533 every year. So we would normally, if we had a $10 million or a whatever the number is, a $5 million capital project total, we would send 5 million from the parking fund into 559 to fund it. And the reserves would grow as we had monies as well. Now
I
we're
feel like I'm
taking-
only seeing half of the story. That's the reason I'm pushing on this.
Okay. We
Hey,
can,
am I missing something? Anybody else have that same thought or no?
the reserve is essentially going down to near zero. I mean, near zero, as close as you can get to, you know, having about $2 million in the reserve. If the projected revenues lag in the parking fund, then we will need to offset the parking fund shortfalls with an infusion from the reserves. And this is a very high level, you know, 5 years out is difficult to project. We keep finding that projecting 1 year out right now is difficult, but it's a conservative look at what the next 5 years could look like for the reserve balance. And that's what this was intended to do.
Any other comments?
I kind of agree with Charlie that if 559 is managed by the parking, by this group, then there probably should be some type of reconciliation schedule just going forward.
And I can look to put together a source and use document for the parking capital fund to kind of show that each time.
I would also like to see, in February 2018, the Downtown Parking Board voted for the creation of the Greater Downtown Smart Meter Reserve. I'm sure there's nothing in it right now, but that should be a line item.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, that is now called the Parking and Transportation, or is that the Parking and Transportation Capital Reserve?
Yes, it is. It underwent the changes in just name.
Yeah.
And you are correct, Tamiko, that there is no monies. We're liquidating those to address the shortfalls.
So it says that there's 8.6 million in there right now. And are the meters the only source of funding for this, or what?
Sorry, Heather, I didn't know if you were answering that. No, the fund, the reserves are funded by surplus revenues from both meters and lots and garages.
Why are they combined? This was supposed to be separate.
We separate them out in terms of reporting out in the report that we do once a year for, you know, tracking.
Any other comments?
All right, Heather, I think you can stop sharing.
So do we have a motion on the proposed budget and 5-year CIP?
And I've noted the request to generate a source and use going forward for that 559.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Guess the silence is deafening. I suppose the motion is to accept and approve the item 5B, the proposed budget for 2021-22 and the 5-year CIP. So I so move.
I need a second.
Second it.
Comment,
Those in favor?
comment first.
Yep.
Charlie, go ahead.
I don't know how we approve or disapprove when we're
Yeah.
missing information. I'm looking at this thing and I don't get the source and app. And it could be me, but I don't think so because I'm seeing, Harvard and Tamika, so saying not in their heads. So
Yeah.
something's off. And I'm not saying it's off. It's just, I don't have all the information that I can make a decision.
Fair
Well,
enough.
let me ask a question. This says proposed, so it's not a final?
No, the city hasn't adopted the budget yet. So this is the parking fund's proposed budget. I can,
So this will go to the budget office.
of course,
Okay.
Yep.
So.
and already has.
Is there time to defer this to the next meeting?
No,
What was that?
no.
Okay.
The city, our meeting's in June. The city will have, made their moves in advance.
Can you get us the information and we can vote online?
No, I mean, we can't vote. I can certainly work to get you some information. I think the best move at this point is just to note the fact that you don't accept it as it stands right now. It won't affect the overall process that we have to go through from our end. I mean, the proposed numbers have already been submitted. So it'll be documented.
So.
Well,
I'm going to have to
This is
amend
more
my
of a-
motion, Mr. Chair.
That's fine.
I'm not sure what my vote means then.
Well, I guess I'm having a little bit of difficulty understanding what exactly you're not seeing. That, yes, the table was not 100% reflective of the balance of the reserve, if that's what's concerning. We are projecting that after 5 years, if our revenue outlook is where it stands today and continues on in incremental increases over the next handful of years, and we don't get to kind of pre-pandemic revenue streams until the 4th year in a 5-year outlook, that our reserve balance will go from roughly 22 million down to 2 million.
Understood.
And then in the 5th year, we'll bring back 4 million into that reserve. But the $3 million capital that we are currently projecting in a 5-year CIP will be funded by the reserve as well.
So you're saying there's going to be 4 years of losses, and in the 5th year, we're going to turn a profit.
Yes.
And you showed us the assumptions behind that and the numbers behind that. Did I miss that table?
Well, we are not showing you a 5-year revenue. So what this item has always been intended, we're not showing you a 5-year source and use for the parking fund. What we're showing you is a 5-year CIP, because the board has always said, we've never been involved in planning the out-year projects. All we see is the 1-year snapshot. And so we decided a year or 2 ago, okay, we'll bring you a 5-year kind of project outlook, and you guys can weigh in on what projects should we look at in the out years. What type of capital project direction, where, what do you want to have a say in? And so that's what the item was really intended to do. So yes, we're showing you next year's proposed parking budget, 25% increases in revenue, minimal increases in expenses kind of related to CIP. And then from a capital side, here's our $3 million plan. Most of it is built on maintaining the facilities. Outside of that, we have a couple $100,000 in a couple of line items, but this is the plan.
But if we're anticipating losses over these next 4 years,
Mhm.
again, this is the CFO and me talking, not the parking person talking, all right?
Yep.
You got to slow down your outflow of expenses. You can't keep spending money at the same rate and hoping that in 4 years it's going to come about. You got to start tightening the belt now.
Well, we have. I mean, our CIP totals have been in the tens of millions typically from a project year. Our feeling is that $3 million is about as low as we're comfortable going, giving us the flexibility to not take on large incremental projects, but maintain the facilities and maybe address some priorities. We got to have money in if the elevators go down, and so we're putting $500,000 to address that. We have some money in our revenue control if we need new meters, if we need technology, upgrades. Cell phone stuff just changed, so we had to upgrade the meters from 4G to 5G or whatever it was recently. So there's some stuff that we can't always anticipate. So we put some money in the pot to ensure we're covered. But $3 million is about as light as we think we can keep the capital at. And that's what we're showing.
So maybe I could make a revised motion, Mr. Chair.
Right ahead.
I move that we accept this report and express the view of the parking board members of concern about the I don't know, disconnect between or fear of insolvency. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's what people are saying. But we've got to accept the report, I think, because the train's leaving the station and this is going through the city process in any event. Just some comments. I'm not even sure if that was a motion.
You want to make it a motion?
If I could figure out what I said, I think we need to accept the report and maybe express the views that vigilance is required to make sure that we stay solvent. Something like that.
So that's a revised motion. Does it have a second?
No second?
I'm happy to withdraw it. I'm trying to get us forward.
I'll
Charlie,
second.
let me
This is
ask
Sarah
you-
Mancuso. I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a comment. Charlie, do you think we should put an item on the next agenda for our next meeting to discuss the use and source of funds and address tightening the belt, as you say?
Yes, I just don't know how I'm asked to approve a 5-year forecast when I have half of the deck. And I'm not saying it's wrong, and I understand where Arian's coming from. You have to make assumptions when you put this stuff together. It's just, I don't know what the downtown parking assumptions are in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. That hasn't been played out for us. This year has been played out. Next year has been played out, but none of the other assumptions. And is that consistent with what the convention center is doing, what the downtown association's assuming, is that consistent across the city, that it's going to take everyone 4 years to come back to get to like revenues that we had. I don't have the answer. I just know what the problem is. Or what I think the problem is.
So Charlie, you're more focused on understanding what's going into these forecasts and understanding that piece of it.
Yeah, you're asking me to approve something 5 years from now.
I'm asking you to approve next year's budget, which we've outlined the details of, and then the 5-year expenditure plan for capital. And I understand that you may not be comfortable approving a 5-year CIP if we don't fully understand what the revenue and expenditure outlook is. All we can say at this point is we don't really have a great look on those out years. And $3 million.
Then I don't know how to approve it. Right?
But
If I don't know what the assumptions are, I just don't know how to approve that.
So Charlie, let me ask you a question. Next year at this time, won't we be approving another 5-year CIP?
Yes.
So we're really only approving a 1-year CIP and a forward projection of what the CIP might look in future years, but every year we approve it again. I'm seeing some nodding heads, so that's nice. And so although it's a 5-year CIP, it's really only a 1-year CIP with a projection and it to be adjusted as we go forward.
To me, the difference, so I agree with that, David. Thank you. Yeah, that part I agree. However, every $3 million that goes out each year as we go, we'll never get that $3 million back.
Right.
And
well, that's why I suggested that we say we're concerned and we need to be vigilant and monitor the situation because this is potentially fraught with danger.
So I'm looking at our annual work plan, and our annual work plan shows that we'll be bringing back in June the 2021-22 budget and the 5-year CIP again for an updated look. So this is the first of 2 looks. We'll bring back some updated information in June. Again, the 5-year CIP, maybe Heather, you recall how far along the city is in the process at that point from a budget standpoint. But we are bringing the budget, both the operating budget and this capital 5-year plan back in June.
Right, and there will be some potential impacts depending on what the city's budget, and the mayor's budget message, kind of what direction that takes. So there will be potential changes. The parking fund may be asked to pick up some things. There may be some changes down the road. So yes, this is our first look and what we are proposing to the budget office as how we see how we would cover shortfalls and move forward with the minimal CIP. As Erin pointed out, there aren't any slotted solid projects in that CIP right now. There allotments and allocations to kind of address what if scenarios that come at us. We are not proactively engaging in many projects at all in the next 5 years, and we've not identified any. So it's kind of to cover what we think may happen and make sure that we have funds should we need them, especially in the capital fund side.
Can I ask a procedural issue here? What happens with the budget if the board says they don't approve? Does it affect any decision making from the budget office or down the road or anything? I mean, or is this just a procedural vote?
We would communicate to the budget office that what the concerns of the board were. And ultimately the budget and the city council approval of that budget is how it gets solidified and plays out.
Thank you, Heather, because my concern is this is, and again, maybe this is too inflammatory, sorry guys, but this is the best case budget scenario right now, because the council and the mayor will go through and chip away potentially and, fund this 3 things or none, right? But that's the best case. But they could take a couple $100,000 or $1 million out of the parking fund at their discretion. And we're further in the hole at that point. Not in the short term, because we got $22 million of reserves, so I get that. But when you're asking us to approve a 5-year plan, we're digging a deeper hole every time. And it's been, I think, commonplace that the council and the mayor come to this fund to pick off some things. To me, guys, we're already showing the deficit in year 5. It's only going to get worse this coming year, and multiply that, it'll get worse as we go in the next couple of years.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that
think we ought
table
to
that we
move ahead,
presented.
Using David's suggestion and possible motion that we revisit it next year.
Yeah,
Well, we're going to revisit it next meeting as well.
And
What's
when we revisit it next meeting, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, some of these missing pieces, what we just, what Charlie especially highlighted, can be, you know, brought to our attention too.
okay, I've got it, I wrote it down this time, so I'm not making it up completely. So I move that we accept and approve the report, the budgets, whatever, while recognizing the negative effects of COVID on these funds and the need to review the future CIP at our next meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Yeah.
Sarah Mancuso.
All in favor?
Henry, can I jump in real quick just with a
I
question,
think-
try to clarify
Let's
things?
have a discussion. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Arian, is there a base assumption that the budget office assumes for revenue generation on the out years, you know, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5?
You know, not that we've gleaned from them. You know, we certainly had conversations to try and align ourselves kind of at a higher city level. We had conversations with Team San Jose around kind of what does the outlook of convention business look like, and I don't know that anybody knows, and ours is so unique. Like, it won't be until offices start to be back to near 100% occupancy or wherever they were back in February of 2019 or 2020.
But I'm not interested necessarily in COVID, pre-COVID. Is there an assumption that the budget office, like for instance, right, we sort of will look at, we do this 5-year, you know, look for the entire city budget and look at what we, you know, assume a base kind of revenue is, right, in our base expenditures. And that's, you know, we kind of base it off of last year, right? We consider whatever the last year or the current year's budget was approved is the base moving forward. Is that how we do it with this fund as well? That this sort of, that's the assumed is whatever the, you know, whatever the revenues were previously, correct?
Yeah, but our base now is down to 6 million in revenue instead of 18. And so we're taking an incremental year over year approach of some increases, 25%, 30% year over year, to get us back to kind of a normal state, what we would consider kind of pre-pandemic normal.
Okay, it sounds like then that's what Charlie was looking for, is what is that? Is it 25%
Yes.
in 2 years? Is it 35% in 3 years? Like what is the year over year assumptions that we're making in years 2s, 3s, 4, and 5? Do we have that data or no?
Yes, it's
And
25%
Councilmember,
current.
if I can add to that, because that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Is this consistent with Team San Jose and, you know, the convention center? So what's their assumptions about coming back?
Their assumptions were
fueling-
they would be holding conventions in December of this, you know, this year. So I took that, consumed it, and didn't really believe it. And so our current projection is 25% year over year. I thought I had mentioned that in the thing. So sorry that wasn't conveyed. 25% year over year increases until we are back, and that back is in year 4.
Okay, so it is that straightforward. Then it's 25% right now increase year over year. Okay,
Yeah, and
that
each
is-
year we will continue to keep looking at that. And my God, hopefully we're back and later this year, we're like, you know what, that should be escalated to 40% or, you know.
Yeah, no, and look, I agree, and I don't think Charlie's looking for perfection either, because we know that with assumptions you're always wrong, right? Hands down, especially right now, responding and then rebounding from COVID, we have no clue. And I agree with you. I also had told Team San Jose they were way too optimistic on a return. So I think but that is helpful, because I also it wasn't clear, at least to me, in listening to the conversation, that you were assuming a 25-year, year-over-year revenue.
Sorry,
Hands down,
yeah, I thought
that is going to change.
articulated that.
Yeah, that will change, as we all know. So I mean, the only thing that even this year, right, we make an assumption of this coming year. It's the best assumptions we can make, because it's the most recent data. But even that is wrong every single year, right? Our budget office, it's impossible to nail that on the mark, because we just have no clue what is really going to come in. And appreciate the dialogue from the parking board. I'll just reiterate with you all that what you do in the input and advice that you provide, right, helps the council be able to make the decisions. And I will also say, because I'm guilty of it as well, right? The entire council, when the parking board was flush, right, everybody was looking for what are things that that we could fund that would also be returning revenues to the city, generating the economy, and so no doubt that is not the case, right, going forward. I don't think there's any indication from anybody on the council that somehow we're going to try to dip into a parking fund that has really been deteriorated, and it's going to take years to rebuild. So I think, but those messaging, that type of messaging coming from this board in your dialogue and in your motions is important, right? And so I don't want anybody to feel that somehow you just have to accept these reports and move on. I actually really appreciate that you guys all understand that, and you're saying, well, we want to provide some input and advice versus just sort of the checkbox. So appreciate having heard all this dialogue. Thanks.
Without any further discussion, those in favor of the motion?
I made it. I'll say yes.
Yeah, that was the motion. We had a second from Sarah?
Yes. How about this? Anybody against the motion, and I can just mark that.
Wait a minute now. Those in favor?
You and me, Sarah, we're alone.
I think you have to take a yes and a no.
Okay, I'll go through the room then, based on the order of the boxes on my screen. Tamiko, yay or nay?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Henry, yes. Charlie?
No.
No. Harvard?
No.
Okay. Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. David? Yes.
Yes.
And Wolfram?
Yes.
Woo. Well, you might want to communicate it was a 4-3 vote. That alone tells you something.
All right, and I'll go back to the auto recording and take down the exact motion. All right.
I'll write it.
Item 6A.
6A, again, a staff presentation, public comments, and then board discussion.
Yep. Heather's gonna jump on and give a presentation.
I am going to share my screen. Can you all see the presentation? First page of the first slide of the presentation. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to first start off by acknowledging the DPB and your associated feedback from the last meeting. We heard you, including your request that the item that we're bringing back before you would be tabled for later on in the year. Unfortunately, as you know, the board only meets quarterly, and we felt that it was important to continue this dialogue that we even initiated back in November. Hence, we're coming back earlier than you probably anticipated. In addition, we want to acknowledge that there's been some public comment and feedback on the particular item. DOT received several emails from members of the public regarding the reinstatement of paid parking at the exterior meters, and also the proposed demand responsive pricing model that we're putting forward. These were originally posted on the DPB website as attachments to today's today's agenda. And it was updated again this morning to include some kind of late submittals that we received. So I believe also that Arian sent everyone a link to those. So if you've not had the chance to read them, I want to make sure I draw your attention to them. In reviewing the comments that we were provided by the public, staff acknowledges that there's concerns regarding kind of some trust and transparency. That was clear to us. In addition, there seemed to be some misunderstandings about the proposed demand responsive pricing model, which we hope to address today in the presentation. I'm going to go through the presentation, and I'd like to request that we hold questions until the end so I can get through it. It's only about 8 slides and hopefully won't be too deep in the woods. I want to stay pretty high level here. So, and I also want to start with the indirect response to the feedback that we received from both the board and the public. We've revised our previously proposed timeline for engaging paid parking at all on-street meters. So I'm going to bring up, if I can control my presentation, this revised timeline here. You can see that you may recall that in March of 2020, in response to the onset of the pandemic, citywide paid parking operations were temporarily suspended. In August of 2020, paid parking resumed at parking meters in the downtown and at the city's off-street facilities. The original timeline proposed paid parking were to return at all meters in July of this year, 2021. However, after further consideration, we are going to push that date a bit, an additional 3 months. So we're now indicating that all parking meters will be active kind of 7 months from now in the October 2021 timeframe. So what that does is, gives about 19 months total of free parking in the exterior from March to the October 21 date. It's also really important to note that this extension will allow the board an additional opportunity, an additional meeting to further this discussion. So as you can see from this timeline that's on the screen, we'll have the June DPB meeting to continue this conversation before we have the need to go back to council. So that gives us some more time to have some meaningful dialogue about what we're proposing here. So I want to make that real clear on the timeline. And with that, I want to move towards really what 6A is intended to focus on and what's agendized for today, which is to discuss the potential pricing model that we would return meters to in October. So I'm going to go ahead and get that presentation started. So DOT really feels that the proposed recommendations of the demand responsive pricing will enhance and streamline the on-street parking program, as well as tailor it to the individual characteristics of each business area or meter district. Demand responsive pricing will allow the city to continue to be sympathetic to the COVID environment and the recovery efforts everyone is embarking on, while at the same time taking an important step toward the city's overall longer-term transportation goals. So you ask, why demand responsive pricing? And first and foremost, it's 100% data driven. It's only based on data, which allows us to potentially remove, or does remove, any potentially discretionary decision-making from the price setting process. It's simple. Hourly parking rates are based on actual parking occupancy. So if a parking activity is down in a certain area, the rate responds and decreases, and vice versa. If it's increasing in a certain area and it hits a threshold, then it could increase as well. Occupancy data really is the driving force behind this model. And parking essentially becomes a commodity that really turns to the supply and demand to set its pricing. Also, I want to highlight that it's going to increase transparency. How it does that is the model outlines the specific parameters and the change triggers. They're in black and white, they're clearly communicated. And when the occupancy data is collected, it's then used to measure the need for change based on that outlined model. There's no surprises. It's very clear. When occupancy levels come in at a certain rate, that triggers the change or not trigger a change, depending on where those occupancy levels come into play. The parameters, as I mentioned, and the occupancy data will be published and available to the public. We'll put it on the Park SJ website, as well as any pricing changes that will be announced there as well. Later on in the presentation, I'm going to show you kind of a mock-up of what that might look like, so you have kind of an idea of how we will plan to communicate that to the public. The demand responsive pricing model also allows some new opportunities for us. Each identified meter area will be independent. For example, parking behaviors around, say, San Jose State won't influence parking rates in the St. James Park area. No longer will there be this kind of blanket one-size-fits-all approach to meter setting. It will be more individualized based on the activities and the draw in these particular identified areas. Pricing adjustments will be allowed to move both up and down. And just take a minute to make sure everybody realizes that's pretty monumental in itself. Not in my 18 plus years with the city have I ever heard the city willing to reduce parking rates. This is pretty important to point out that this is a first. And in fact, we're proposing a rate reduction right out of the starting gate when parking is reinstated in October. In the exterior, we're proposing to reduce the $2 rate that's currently on the books and start that rate at $1.50. And we'll talk more about that a little later on as well. So continued sustainability is really important here during the recovery. While free parking, I'm sure, is always a preferred option, it's not the most sustainable and effective option. Demand responsive pricing, however, will adapt alongside our recovery efforts and progress. As businesses and communities work toward returning to normal, parking pricing will do the same. Parking occupancy in most areas is currently lower than what we saw pre-pandemic. And low occupancy is a situation that would potentially trigger a rate reduction. And then as customers and activities continue to return, it will reflect accordingly in the parking occupancy levels, and then adjustments can be made in stepped increments. Lastly, I want to point out that the city has aggressive long-term transportation goals related to the reduction of single occupancy vehicle trips and greenhouse gas emissions. And demand responsive pricing is a tool that will be used to help accomplish the goals in those particular areas. So now that we know kind of why the demand responsive pricing model is before you today for discussion, I just wanted to take you through kind of exactly what that program means and what it does. So if you saw, we put out a kind of a one-pager that outlined the specifics of the program kind of at a high level. And in that, on the flip side of it, would have been a map that kind of outlined where our current meters are, all those dots on that map, and then where we've kind of framed potential zones or broke down and parceled our current meter zones. So we came up with about 8, not about, there are 8, not including the Arena Diridon. And the reason the Arena Diridon is not included in this demand responsive pricing model is because it's already on a form of demand responsive pricing, because it's event-based pricing. So it identifies these 8 areas based on the activity types that are going on there, the geography, and then existing kind of business districts or areas that are identified. The meter operating hours then get grouped into 4 different time bands, and changes across all of these districts and all of these time bands can occur based on occupancy. Occupancy will be gained through a survey. The survey will occur multiple days in each of the time bands during the survey month. So we're proposing that an October survey happen and an April survey happen. So 2 times a year, we survey these various areas during all the different time zones or time bands. October surveys would drive potential change to meter rates in the January timeframe. April survey would then drive change in the July timeframe. So we're proposing pricing changes potentially 2 times a year. Now, there's 3 things that can happen when we do a survey and we potentially make adjustments. 1, we could hit the target occupancy rate, which is currently set between 65 and 85%. If occupancy comes in that range, there's no change. The meter rate stays. If parking demand per the occupancy data is lower than 65%, we reduce it by 1 increment, and vice versa. If the parking demand is higher than the 85%, that's when we initiate an increase by one increment. Oop, sorry, that went the wrong way. So as we indicated, initial rates in the October timeframe are shown in this, what we're proposing are shown in this table here at the bottom of the slide. Initial rates in the downtown core and the meters that are currently on are set right now at $2. The exterior, we're proposing to start at $1.50. The increments I indicated right now are being proposed at 50 cents. And we've set a minimum threshold. And by setting a minimum threshold, by setting a minimum threshold, we allow and ensure our cost recovery. There's costs related to the meter program, from running the parking meters monthly services, to collection, to maintenance, to all the varying to senior staff, and all the way up the chain. There's costs related to it. And so we set the minimum, $1 in the exterior and $1.50 in the downtown cores to ensure that cost recovery mechanism. The maximum threshold, I know that there's been some concern around this $5 being the maximum rate. That seems very steep. And I'll walk us through an example of how that is a very far in the future option to get to the $5. It will take a significant amount of occupancy for us to get there. But what that allows us is some flexibility in the program and ensures that we don't have to go continually back to council to adopt our rate structure. So as we continue down this timeline, the first occupancy survey as it sits now wouldn't occur until a year after the initial return of all paid parking. So again, we're scheduled now for an October 2021 re-engagement of meters. The first survey would be a year later in October 2020. So that $1.50 rate would be consistent for a minimum of a year. And then depending on what the October surveys indicated, potential rate adjustments would occur for the January 2023 timeframe. So worst case scenario, I wanted to put this forward so you could understand how we, yep.
I apologize because I know you said the rules up front were not to to wait for comments, but I'm struggling here.
Okay.
What you're proposing, I get the concept and everything. Not saying I'm necessarily in favor of it, but I get the concept.
Mm-hmm.
How is this at all consistent with the discussion we just had that we're going to have 25% a year increases from historic lows, right? So 4 years, we're going to be crawling our way, out of this massive hole we're in. Mm-hmm. What is the rush to put in something like this when we're saying for 4 years, we're going to have a problem?
Sure. So I'll first address that. I don't know that this is a rush. As I kind of started to talk through the timeline, this is, changes are potentially year away. I mean, that would be the earliest that rate changes would happen, with the exception of the initial reduction rate to $1.50 in the exterior. So we're taking into consideration here that this model helps helps the communities continue down this path of recovery. Right now, the only other option to us is to turn on the meters at the $2 rate in the exterior and move forward with that. And then there's no mechanisms to move that needle. It just stays stagnant at that $2 rate. And we know that there's a need to kind of continue to help and facilitate. We can't do that at a free parking level, but we can do that at reduced rates and move us in progression. And then it's a more gradual return to hopefully our original rates of $2 per hour throughout. Yes, it will potentially impact in the short term revenues. But we've taken some consideration during our projections of the 25% that we proposed or we put forward earlier today.
I appreciate, am I on mute?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. I appreciate Charlie's comments. Heather, are you finished your presentation?
I have 2 more slides, I think.
Go ahead with that and then
Okay.
we'll open it up. for
All right,
discussion.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, so back to this kind of worst case scenario here. I won't go through all the line item details. It was just to kind of show and demonstrate that if occupancy, in this case in the old Civic Center area during the 2 to 5 p.m. band 3, during that time frame, if occupancy every year indicated that it was at 90%, it would then trigger an increase every time that occupancy level came back at that high. That would mean that we would get to the potential $5 rate max in 2026. So 5 years out, not going to get there very quickly, but I also want to stress that this is highly unlikely. We know that pre-pandemic, our occupancies were not at the 90% mark or the 85% mark, which would trigger an increase in most areas during most times. There are a few areas, kind of the lunchtime time band, we know that there would potentially be a few areas that would trigger increases, but not anywhere near on this accelerated path. Transparency, this again was a theme that was running through the public comment that we've received, and I understand it, that this is, there's a concern, and especially with that $5 rate, max rate being in print there, that's a concern. What you see here is a conceptual sample of a potential report that we would potentially put forward. These would be published, provided to the Downtown Parking Board in regular meetings, and we would put it on the parksj.org website. So communities could understand and see what is triggering change and what is going on with parking occupancy in all of the areas. I think it's a fairly easy to understand and communicate with this particular report. Arian put it together for us that shows kind of at the top the time bands, what the occupancy was, and if the blue bar graph gets into the green, it stays at current price. If it's below, it gets reduced. If it's above, we go for a
Hey, Heather, just real quick, also want to expand on that and just make it clear, because I've seen a couple of questions or understood that maybe it's not 100% clear in the one pager. Certainly, it could not have been there, but the occupancy in this top piece of this sample report is changes would only occur within individual bands based upon the data, not based on the entire day. So if based on occupancy in the 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. time band in this example, totally fictional sample, it's below the green target zone, so the rate would go down. And that's what like the little summary down at the bottom is trying to, pictorially dictate, decrease in the morning, no change in the midday, decrease in the afternoon, and no change in the evening. And that would happen across all 8 zones twice a year based on the data published 2 months in advance of the change. And so that's just to make that clear. It wouldn't be the entire day going up or down. It wouldn't be, all data based on 4 distinct time bands. Sorry, I'll go back on mute.
Thanks, Arian, for that clarification. Yeah. So that's the end of kind of my formal presentation. Would love to have constructive feedback and a discussion around the item. And this just kind of reminds you of the potential or the timeline that we're proposing here with the reinstatement in October, and then the first occupancy survey 1 year later, and then adjustments the following January.
Do you guys have any kind of scenarios that show financially what the impact of doing this would be? For example, with given a certain set of assumptions that, what's the net impact of revenue when some rates go up and some rates go down?
Yes, we did some preliminary. It's compounded by the fact that we are in the COVID scenario and we're not sure based on our assumptions if those are going to pan out and what exactly the occupancy will do, and the exact increases and decreases that may happen, because that will change over time and change as we continue down the road of recovery here. We did apply this model to pre-COVID numbers. In particular, our approach to that was to really kind of find out where we could set the floor and how low we could go and still potentially cover expenses. So those are the preliminaries models that we worked with.
So does this end up with a net increase in revenues if you use prior data, or does it just break even, or
It gets us toward where we were if in the end we bounce back to where we were pre-COVID, it ends up being in the ballpark of our pre-COVID revenues. Does that make sense?
Just a short question. What motivated you to propose 3 additional hours at the parking meters?
So we've known that those are meters. Those are times where the meters are active. There's parking occurring during those times, and so we think that the meter rates should mirror when there's the actual activity occurring, and encourage turnover during those hours, like it does now between the 9 to 6, for customer service and turnover and availability of parking.
Well, but here's, for example, my problem I have with that. We add an hour before and 2 hours after the current meter operation. So if I, as a resident, I have friends over, right, for dinner, for example, they have to pay parking, and eventually it could be that they end up paying $10 in an evening for just visiting me. So as a resident, this is not very favorable, especially when you talk about parking in the evening until 8. As I said, right now it's until 6. So and I think also if you have these high rates, I'm concerned that nobody will go shopping in downtown San Jose or in areas where we have this meter system.
Well, there's other problems here as well, right? So first, this is not consistent at all with what Arian just went through earlier. All right, so complete disconnect. Arian essentially said, and this is Charlie's way of repeating what he said, was that we're going to be in a massive hole for 3 or 4 years, climbing our way out. All right. So that would mean in a aggregate level that you're going to be reducing parking rates from $2 to $1.50 to $1 to 50 cents, over these next couple of years. All right. And therefore,
Remember, there's a floor, Charlie.
well, maybe there shouldn't be here, but okay, I'll pause there. But, and oh, by the way, I am a huge fan of variable pricing, right? So I think variable pricing is a good model in a lot of cases. But what's going to happen here is it's going to be mass confusion. The dinner thing, right? I'm going over to someone's house. All of a sudden, I've historically gotten free parking. Now I got to pay, right? And I don't even know if it's this month or next month, if there was a raise in the rate or, how it's going to be communicated. I think it's going to be a complete shit show when it comes to, understanding what's going on. But, part of this, and I try to come to this as a business person, but I'm going to make my next comment as the CFO of San Jose State. My students are going to get taken to the cleaners here on this because they'll be the first ones that are coming back in droves because everyone's going to be afraid to take public transportation. So everyone's going to want to be in their own car. And so the parking is going to be full all around the university. So you're going to jack rates up all around the university from $2 to $3 to $5. And it's going to be our at-risk in need students that are going to be in this zone paying for all the other zones that are going on, the weakness, because, in the downtown, again, according to Arian's model, that it's going to take us 4 years to come back and have activity in the downtown.
So they'll have a choice, Charlie, right? Couldn't they park a couple blocks away then and find the downtown zone if it were a little cheaper?
Yes, they could, but I'm not sure if it's going to be clear to people where the line is that they park.
And ultimately, my problem with this is you guys don't run businesses. The people making these policies do not have their own businesses. You don't understand the ramifications of these policies. So you're going to see numbers 6 months from now after our businesses have already seen a reduction in business. Like, this is instantaneous down here. I understood the banded pricing. I understood a 25% increase of hours of enforcement. And I still understand that we have seen $0 come back to Japantown. We get none of the city benefits. We get none of the downtown benefits, and we get taxed. How fair does that look? We've been asking for some fairness for the last 3 years.
D'Amico, I do agree with your comments. And I think this board, not this current board, but a couple of years ago, there was a commitment for equity. And I guess it's gotten pushed out of the agenda.
Yeah.
For reasons I'm unaware of.
Right, we had to pay back our meters, which we've done, and there is still no vehicle for us to get our monies back. Except I'm told that we can apply for a grant. That's not acceptable. We get 0 city services. We don't have a P bid. We barely have a bid. We don't have cleaning. We don't have nobody parks downtown and it walks over to Japantown or vice versa. That doesn't happen. So we're getting taken to the cleaners, and all of us are pissed off at this point. My letter had 140 signatures, including from the Swensons.
Well, I think that applies to our business downtown also, both the rates and the hours of the meters. And to just put that in effect July 1st on the meters is going to be a shock to more than just residents. Some people are going to get so upset because they got a ticket, which is the worst thing that can happen. That's the very worst thing that could happen for our downtown. There are some people that deserve the ticket, but not where they don't understand what our program is or would be, because I won't support this whatsoever. It just doesn't fit into my daily life and for the vibrant and growth of all of our sectors in the city. So I just give you in advance that I will not at this time be voting
I
to
think David wanted to make a comment.
recommend this.
I also want to throw in here, right now, we are still in a very uncertain time due to, COVID. And I think, it's premature to even discuss this. I would think, when we discuss something like this in October 2020, then we would have a much better understanding, what is the parking situation in a normal time. And I think, right now, everybody's financially strapped due to COVID, especially when you talk about the businesses. And we should allow them to recover first before we discuss, kind of, parking structure for the next few years. So what is the impact right now versus, in October 2020 to revisit, something like this with more accurate data? I still don't understand, how is, this time bands defined? Why are we using from 8 to 11 and not from, let's say, 8 to 12? That I would like to really see more data about, the occupancy rate in these time zones right now or pre-COVID. And again, in 2022, when we are back to normal, before entertaining, any kind of proposal like this.
Yeah, one of my biggest concerns is, and Scott, I'm going to say some stuff, and then I think you from Downtown Association probably have a closer read on this. But, my understanding of, as we come out of COVID, that there is big concern about how the downtown area gets rejuvenated and then people return to the area as it was. One, because of safety, because of other issues. And I don't know how this, by driving up parking during peak hours in the downtown area, this is only for the downtown area I'm talking about, will incentivize people to want to come back. Because right now, I think that there is a concern by many of the downtown groups and businesses that people are not going to want to come back soon. And Scott, did I get that read right?
Yes, and as you know, Harvard and members of the board, the meters are already on in downtown. So we turned the meters back on in August. We turned them on at the full price at $2. And from my understanding of what the staff is proposing, as Charlie and others on this board, including you, Harvard, have talked about, we understand that demand pricing is coming to parking. Obviously, with the pandemic, timing is really an issue now for everything. But what I was hearing from Heather is she wanted to bring this back to you in September with a little bit more data. Hopefully, we're in the red tier today. Hopefully, we're moving along more closely. But we're already paying for the parking. I mean, the real impact is what Wolfram was saying was with additional 3 hours, 1 hour early, 2 hours late. And then it's a matter of, is the timing right to be thinking about, these zones, where are they? Is the 6-month increment the right increment to have demand pricing start in 23? So there's a long wick on this. They're trying to give, I think, the board some time to really digest this and kind of weigh it. If the customers are indeed going to return. I think it's maybe a separate issue that Temco and Japantown's talking about, because the meters are off and haven't been turned on again. But for downtown, we're already we're already paying. And the biggest downside, what Henry was saying is, we got the meters on, it means that we're writing tickets to our customers who are parking at the meters.
Other comments?
Can I jump in real quick? I just have a couple, 3 or 4 quick questions. What are we doing today? Is the staff presenting something and then we are giving you feedback and then it's going to come back to us again? That's correct, right?
That's correct. With the extension of the timeline, again, it allows us that an additional meeting.
I got it. Okay.
to-
So my next question is, does anyone disagree that this is a major change to the downtown parking program? This is a huge change.
Yes.
Does anyone disagree with that?
No.
My next question is, what are we doing here? What is the primary objective of making this change? If you could summarize it in 1 sentence or less. Why are we doing this? What are we trying to have happen?
So we're trying to move from the one size fits all approach across the downtown and how that decision changes.
Objective? Is the objective to free up more spaces? Is the objective to create more revenue? Is it the objective to have more people come downtown? What is the objective?
There's multiple. Just parking meters in general, the objective is to encourage the turnover, right? So there's available parking for customers that are coming to businesses and things in the downtown.
That is the primary objective. The primary objective is to make sure that there are spaces downtown, and by raising the rate, you're assuming more people are going to move around or something like that. Is that what the primary objective is?
Again, the primary objective of a meter is to encourage turnover. And then on top of that, it's the ability for us to adapt prices to kind of a market value of that parking space. So in areas that it's less used, it will be reduced price for customers that need it or want it. And then in areas that there's higher occupancy or more demand, the market price will ensure that there's still available parking.
So do you agree that the market price could be 0 at some times?
I wouldn't go as far to say 0, because again, you need the turnover from the meter and the charging mechanism.
Right, but if the
But
meters
low,
it
could low.
But the meters are only 50% full,
Mhm.
and then in essence, or 40% or 15% full,
Mhm.
then the market price is 0. And that's what the market price is now before 9 o'clock.
But the occupancy isn't 0 at the 9 o'clock, before 9 o'clock.
Right, but at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., in many cases, in many areas, it is 0, the market price.
Right, which is why we're setting to parcel out the different areas, because they are all different. It's very different in San Pedro Square area at night than it is in East Santa Clara at night, or
I get that.
you know,
But I think
Civic
you
Center.
could add a market price of 0 to your model for areas where the percentage is so low that there's nobody there. So what you're trying to do is attract people to come downtown, because half or more of the spaces are empty. And if they know it's free, then maybe they would come. Just a thought as feedback. My last question, well, 2 more. Is this revenue neutral, or is your grand scheme to raise more money, or do you expect to lose money with this program?
The grand scheme is to make it revenue neutral. Now, what revenue neutral means, either pre-COVID or post-COVID, is a little different.
Right.
The intent here is in no way to create additional revenue. It's actually, we expect either a neutral or a less of a potential revenue, depending on how long it takes for recovery. And this is a marathon here. And these changes are going to, occur over a long distance or long time frame.
Right. Okay,
So-
one last question.
Mhm.
To some extent, if any of you don't know this already, I actually have a ground floor retail type business in downtown San Jose. And we have customers, we'll just say pre-COVID or hopefully post-COVID, however you want to call that, when it's over, that come there 24 hours a day. And they stay for between 1 and 2 hours. And many of them come from 5, 6, 7 in the morning, leave at 8 or 9. Many come at 6, 7, or 8 at night, leave an hour or 2 later. That's my model. And we love the fact that you raised that number to 90 minutes at the garage, since it takes 10 minutes to get there and 10 minutes to go back. And without that, we would probably already be out of business if you had left that at 60 minutes instead of 90. So thank you so much for that. But my question to you is, we communicate with our customers regularly. How do I explain this to them? When my customer says, well, I would really like to come and use your business, but tell me about the parking. And I'm going to say, well, we don't know what you're going to pay, and we don't know what it is, and it's going to change constantly. So I guess if you could help me with my elevator pitch to my customers to convince them to come to my business in downtown San Jose, I don't think I'm alone in this, and compared to going to a shopping center not that far away where it's free. And that's my big issue. I need your help to explain to me, how do I explain this to my customers? That's my final comment. Thank you very much.
Sure. So again, this is a major change, as you pointed out earlier. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not something that's going to be a small lift for our division. And there absolutely will have to be a significant communications plan and approach to this. We're not at that point yet. The reports that will be available online, the information will be available on the Park SJ website to inform customers of the rate. On-street is a little bit different than your off-street facilities, right? Because when you pull up to an off-street facility, there's a big sign that tells you, before you go in, this is what you're going to pay, and you don't pay until the end of your stay. On-street parking is a kind of a prepayment type plan where you arrive at the meter and you have to pay for whatever you anticipate is going to be your stay. So the meter communicates at that point what the pricing is at that time. It also would be available, like I said, you could point your customers to the Park SJ website to understand the pricing models. And we're not talking about, the true dynamic pricing where it changes on a day-to-day, minute by minute basis. We're proposing 2 times a year. So not as a big a lift to communicate that, but yes, we understand that there will be change, and there will definitely be a communication plan to help businesses as well as city staff and employees to understand.
Well, just one last comment to that. Please understand that we try to convince people to come, and it's not the customer that is a regular user, but the new customer is not going to come if they don't understand these things. So if there's 2 kinds of customers, the existing customer and the future prospective customer. And for the future prospective customer, the idea of communicating with them every 6 months that what they're going to pay to come visit our business is going to change is really not, I'm not sure it's not even challenging. I don't know how in the world, maybe you can show me how to do that.
I'm still not clear if the answer was on revenue, that the net revenue is revenue neutral by doing all this. I'm still not clear what the advantage of doing it is, because I can certainly see from an administrative standpoint, a management standpoint, how this is just going to be just chaotic. well, not chaotic, but it's going to be a lot of lift to manage all of this. And if that's increasing your costs to get to the same revenue number, I still don't know what the advantage really is. So that's just my thought right now. Maybe as we talk about it more, it'll become clear. But I'm just like, we're just changing this to get the same number.
Yeah, if we're not trying to drive revenue, right? And I think that should be one of the things we're looking at. But the other thing is we should be trying to drive behavior. And I think, you know, we as a board need to state what's the behavior we want to have for parking in the downtown. Do we want to have less cars in the downtown? Do we want to have more cars in the downtown? Right? Are we trying to be a sustainable board and therefore drive people to public transportation? Or are we trying to help businesses get back on their, right? So what, we're kind of all over the map on what we're trying to do. And I don't see as part of our charter, what's the number one thing we're trying to do?
So just to answer, the overall city and DOT is a big portion of that is, yes, the city is moving towards improving walkability of our city and mode shift goals to move people out of single occupancy vehicles into transit and alternate modes, bikes, scooters, car share, etc. So overall, that is the city direction, and DOT has a big part in that. So yes, as that was kind of my last bullet on my initial slide about benefits, that this is what the city is moving towards, climate smart wise, mode shift wise, greenhouse gas emission wise.
And you should improve the secondary transportation first. You can't force people out of the car.
This is a tool in the toolbox for that.
No, this is blackmailing people out of their cars. You have to improve the secondary transportation first to incentivize people to use it. But if VTA sucks and people are not willing to use it, you can't box them out because there are free parking places where they can go.
And I think along that line, right now, when we're exiting the pandemic, when people are scared to death to get on a bus or any type of public transportation, you know, if we're raising rates or threatening to raise rates or proposing to raise rates, however, whatever word you want to use there, you know, it's telling people that it's going to cost you more, therefore get on that bus. And I don't feel safe today getting on the bus. We could talk about this in a year or two when we're out of the pandemic and we're trying to influence where people are going, and we want to put up a rate even to drive through downtown, it's going to cost you $5. We can do that, but I think we're getting ahead of where we are right
Let me ask a total different question here. Right now, you know, you have to estimate how long will I use a parking spot, right? So if you go to a parking meter, you need to know, is it an hour, is it 2 hours, whatever. Is there any thought from the Department of Transportation about more kind of on a need-based charging system? So for example, I pull into the parking spot and I go to a store or go to a restaurant and I leave, let's say, after 70 minutes. So, you know, the idea here, what I think we may want to look into the future, and I don't know if solutions or technology for that exists, the moment I drive off that parking spot, then I will be charged for the amount or duration I used it. So that would get rid of, you know, the estimation, because if I go to a restaurant, I don't know, am I in the restaurant for, let's say, just, you know, half an hour, or am I there for 1.5 hours? So I have always to make the estimate, but you could free up parking spots probably also if people, you know, if they are done with their business, move out of the spot rather than, you know, oh, I have, you know, another 30 minutes on the parking meter. Just food for thought here.
One suggestion I might make would be to defer this item for 2 years. and see where we're at. I
Yeah,
don't think this is going to be well received. I think it's a setback to the areas we serve. And I think it's, I think it's the wrong direction at this time.
did the Department of Transportation reach out to, let's say, other cities who have implemented this or are implementing this right now to get their feedback? Or have they reached out to, other than, just a small community, let's say in a kind of, survey to San Jose residents to get, their feedback on a broader basis?
The concept isn't new. It's in place in many, many cities. San Francisco being the closest example, and no city is exactly like another. San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles are kind of the big West Coast cities that have this in place at metered parking. San Francisco's had it for probably 10 plus years at this point. And I think they make changes more frequently and much more granular. Each block face is actually different. So one side of the street is actually priced differently than the other side of the street. And they're really trying to move people and move that demand. Other cities, more or less something similar to ours based on zones. Some have different zones or different time bands based on different activities in different areas, but at a high level, it exists in many places. Those examples are the closest in proximity to us.
My comments next aren't going to help solve this problem of trying to balance a budget or generate revenue for the city. But, one of the biggest issues that we have as a downtown area is that it's not a place that's really well known as a destination for most people. There are pockets that are starting to develop, that are becoming popular, but in general, as a destination site for the general public, there's a if you don't know how to get around downtown, it's very intimidating. And, for us as a business at the Tech, we have an awesome theater there, movie theater, the Dome IMAX, digital. And our biggest issue that we have, we really can't show Hollywood films there, like, Marvel comics, or, we can show some of the big popular ones like the Star Wars, because we know people are going to want to see that. But the general movies, people don't want to come. And the biggest reason for that is because the South Bay is where people work at these companies, all have free parking, and it's parking right up front. And for them to come to downtown San Jose, they have to first get over their fears of navigating downtown. Then they have to figure out where to park. Then they have to pay. And there's nothing else around us that they can go to. There's a few places, but if they want to go to a movie at night, they can go to the Oak Ridge or Valley Fair or whatever, and everything is there for them, shopping, eating, and the movie, and the parking is free. So why would they want to come to downtown San Jose? That's a big problem for the city. And I know this doesn't help solve the parking revenue issue, but that's an issue that we have is, all have trying to manage downtown businesses. And this dynamic parking thing is just going to drive up the cost of people coming to downtown when we're trying to get people to come to grow our businesses. It's not an easy problem, I know. It's just that's the way it is right now. And I think we need to improve the perceptions of downtown versus trying to put more barriers in there. And I know it's not what we want to hear here on this dynamic thing. I understand the concept, but I'm not sure that it's the right time. I probably would want to wait a little bit to see how we grow out of this pandemic before we put in a change like this. Scott, do you have any comments about perceptions of downtown for the community on business growth?
And Scott, sorry to interrupt here. I have to run because I have a noon meeting, but I wanted to provide just a little bit of insight. I actually really have appreciated hearing the board on this, and I would support the notion of deferring this for a couple years, as you pointed. I don't think there's any urgency to implement this now. We have the ability as a board and as a council to implement price changes as needed right now, if we want to. So there's no desperate urgency to do so. And I think even when we come back to maybe discuss this in the future, for instance, San Francisco started off with a pilot in 2011. And the pilot went on for 7 years before they actually implemented it citywide to all their parking meters. I don't think that would be a bad idea either to discuss, would there be a pilot we want to, an area we might want to pilot and look at it. But I really appreciated the feedback. I think some of the concerns in regards to the timing as well, like the time bands, adding 2 hours and adding an hour early. San Francisco has time bands of 9 to noon, noon to 3, and 3 to 6. I would be interested in this board chiming in on that right in the future as well. Would we want to change the time bands? And I'm actually even interested, I won't be here for the discussion, but if you guys wanted to talk about that, is the time band something you'd want to implement sooner, right? Because the time band gives an opportunity for slightly different pricing throughout the day, but that would be consistent. And that wouldn't necessarily be this dynamic approach of changing every 6 months. And so I'd be interested to hear your feedback on that. Unfortunately, I won't be here. David will be able to stay on, but I will support that notion if the board is going to make any directions here today, and appreciate the commentary from everybody.
The other positive thing I forgot to mention was that the downtown area, assuming all the development that is happening right now, residential and commercial, does actually get done in the next 3, 4, 5 years, the downtown will be considerably different and vibrant. All the changes that they're going to make along Park Avenue, you've got the J. Paul development, you've got the Gary Dillabow development. All these developments are going to increase the amount of residential, which will put a bunch of people in the downtown area that will want to stay there to do what they want for pleasure, which will hopefully drive their friends and bring their people into the downtown area. So I think in 3 to 5 years, we might see a completely different perspective on what the downtown looks like. But right now, it's not there, and it won't be there for several years.
Yeah, and to me, worse, where Councilmember Perales was going, if we do these bans, the San Jose State students are the ones that are going to be paying those higher rates right now. And, and maybe that's demand pricing, and maybe that's appropriate. But I don't, again, think that's the right message to be sending to students at this time either.
We're running out of our allotted time. So if there's not any further discussion, but rather someone wants to be brave enough to make a motion.
Well, I make the motion to defer this for the next at least year. So we can revisit this maybe in October 2022.
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Real quick, what was the motion? Was to defer until when? October of 2022?
Yes.
October 2022, yes.
And that was from Wolfram?
Yes.
Correct.
And the second was from who?
Second.
Sorry?
Currently.
Charlie?
Charlie.
Arian, just clarifying, deferrals referring specifically to the dynamic.
Correct.
Yeah, so at this time, I guess the staff charge will be then to begin energizing and messaging the $2 an hour meter rates effective October of 2021.
Just for clarification, this includes the whole recommendation you made, including the meter hours.
Meter, yes. So there's no change. It is, program is status quo, re-engaging meters in October in the exterior, and we will table this discussion, staff will probably do some data collection and some further analysis to prepare for a future discussion.
Thanks, Heather. I don't see any major items. Did you have reports to talk about on item 7?
No items to report, nothing substantive, and given the time, I'd say we just bypass those. There's nothing relevant in that section anyway right now. So next meeting, June 2nd. I assume that'll also be via Zoom. So I will get those links out, and fingers crossed they work a little better than they did this go around. I'm not sure what happened there.
They're finally working now towards the end of the meeting, so thank you.
Let's hope on June 2nd, we can all say we've been vaccinated.
Yes.
All for it. I get my
All right.
second one next week.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. We're adjourned.
Thanks.